Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the fourth Sunday of the month, which means it's time for Chef Kelley Williamson, also known as the plant-based Kitchenista. And today she is going to be demonstrating all things Thai. Please welcome her to the show. Hey, Kelley, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're one of my favorites. I love the way you cook.
Thank
And I can
you.
say that. Well, no, I can say that just not from watching because I've tasted your food and you just do magic with a simple baked
Thank
sweet.
you.
I don't know how you do it. Your cherry tomatoes taste better than everybody's. I think that Jerry is the luckiest man in the world. And I think I need a wife like you.
Yes,
Everyone needs a Chef Kelley. And you work full time too. I don't
I do.
I don't think people know like this is not your main gig, and
Mhm.
yet you still have time to make healthy and delicious food for your
Yeah.
family.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a little the work's been a little crazy. It's like 60, 70 hours a week right now. So fitting everything in, but I love it.
Yeah. How long have you been plant-based now?
16 plus years. So I
Wow.
started when I was, born.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, was Jerry plant-based when you met him, or did you do it
No,
together?
no, I actually introduced him because I came from Kansas and I've been cooking since I was probably 7 years old enough to stand at the stove. And so, it was when I met Jerry, he knew a lot about, Mexican food and all kinds of things like that and Italian food. But I introduced him to like chicken fried steak and, pot roast and all those things and stuff before I became plant-based. So I would say probably maybe 10 years into our relationship there, he came in with some health issues and that's when we decided. We actually got some results back on Friday night from him. And then Saturday cleaned out the kitchen and Sunday went plant-based. And we've been that way ever since.
Well, how did you guys hear about it? Who did you go to first? Was it a book? Was it a
Oh,
documentary?
everybody, Dr. John McDougall.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got to tell you, the more people I interview, that all roads lead to him. Because mainly just because he's been doing it longer than
Yeah.
anybody. And yeah, we
But
love
he
him.
really, I mean, he was one of the ones that kind of like the front of bringing everybody together, so doing those 10 days and doing those weekends and all that. And that was really popular. And that's where Jerry, did a lot of reading on him and kind of started on his own a little bit. But I wasn't plant-based at the time. So it was a little more difficult because he had to cook himself and do those. And then after we got the results back, we're like, okay, we're done. We've got to change our lives and do something different. So we'll credit all that to Dr. John McDougall.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to hear that. He says he never gets tired of hearing that. But it's interesting how, and myself included, most people don't seem to change their diet and lifestyle until a diagnosis. And very few people
Yeah.
seem to be doing this proactively.
Yep. I would say that, yeah, because we're in a community right now and stuff where we're trying to get, the plant-based started. And we've got people that will come to the cooking classes, but they're all like, well, but it's, I've got just a few things, or, I'm just starting to get the medications. And we keep trying to educate them, but they look at it as more that if as long as I'm out there and I'm playing paddleball or these type of things like that, then they're okay. So it's a little bit of getting people to understand that it is about the food that you eat also. So
Yeah, it is so hard. Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned you've been cooking since you were 7. I think I didn't start
yep.
cooking until I was 11. I started baking though when I was 7, first with an easy bake oven. How the
Oh
heck
yeah.
light bulb? I mean, that blew my mind that a light bulb, because
Ugh,
chemistry just interests me how a light bulb could bake a cake.
yep.
So I wonder for people that have never cooked, and there are people like I've met people in
Mhm.
their 40s and 50s that just rely on takeout and processed food. Do you think it's harder for them to learn the kind of skills that you're teaching people if they've never cooked anything in their life?
I have both that come to my classes, and I would say as long as you're open to it, you can, pretty much everything that I'm going to show. I mean, you can buy shredded carrots, you can buy, peppers that are all cut up, cabbage that's shredded. So I would say probably maybe 10, 15 years ago when the stores didn't have all those type of things that were already made up. Yeah, probably a little bit harder because you would have to chop and you would have to get things ready. But now you could do pretty much all of this bought just exactly how I'm going to make it today. So I think it's a lot easier now. Because I think you can buy like the lettuces, you can buy the cabbages and all those kind of things, and then just make things up. And you can do things that, if you don't want to cook, you can boil some noodles, or you don't even have to do that. You can go buy zucchini noodles. So you can just put the zucchini noodles and put all of this together for the sesame soba noodles, and away you go. And you could do it like half raw, half cooked. I mean, it's all good for you. So I think I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think that there's a lot more opportunity to be able to do this type of a lifestyle and be able to live that healthy lifestyle with things that are available in the stores now. So
It's more accessible.
exactly.
I think though with an Instant Pot, I mean, I don't know anything easier than just throwing everything in an Instant Pot.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a chef to do that.
Yeah, that is very true. You can make the best vegetable soup in an Instant Pot. I mean, just like everything, you just put cans of beans and you've got rice and you've got, if you would decide your cabbage is already shredded in the bag. So you could put all those ingredients together and then you can do your Instant Pot, so your pressure cooker, and say 30 minutes later, not even that, you've got this wonderful vegetable soup that tastes the best ever. So,
absolutely. So today,
yeah.
Thai food is delicious, by the way. So,
Yes.
it's pad Thai. Oh, pad Thai. Nothing like pad Thai.
Yep. And I think, what I'm trying to do is like show you, I would say like Jerry, when I first made these recipes, he was like, ooh, I'm not, because he's like, I don't like Thai. He didn't like all the different spices and stuff. So this is a little bit different take on it. But this is one that when I make this up, he will eat on it for an entire week, which is really nice. There's a lot of times and stuff when you'll make things up and you've got people in your family that are like, I don't eat leftovers. I guarantee you these leftovers will get eaten. They are
I
so
never
good.
understood people that didn't eat leftovers because I always like leftovers better than the original because it's almost like the more I cook it and reheat it, the better it tastes.
The better it tastes. Like chili. I mean, chili is great the first time you eat it, but to say like 2 or 3 days later, it's even better because everything's marinated up together. So yeah.
Are you going to be using tamarind paste at all today?
Nope, no tamarind paste. It's a little bit different, just a little bit different, not as spicy. So I've got red curry paste that I'm actually going to use. And I am not, and I always say I am not a curry fan at all. I've still to this day and stuff, but I can use a little bit of like red curry paste in things. So it'll give you that flavor, but it's not like it's overpowering. So if you don't like curry, I guarantee you'll be okay with this. You won't get that like, ooh, I don't like that type of thing. So.
Well, let's get cooking.
Yeah. So definitely what I try to do too, and kind of goes back to the tamarind paste and stuff. I try to find things that are very accessible no matter where you're at. So if you're in like a very small city or very small town and you've got, maybe you've only got like one grocery store that doesn't have much in it. Like my dad, he lives outside of Joplin, Missouri. So their main grocery store is Walmart. And then they have one other one. So, trying to get recipes and trying to help him do recipes that are more plant-based, making sure things that are really accessible for him. If I told him tamarind paste, he'd be like, what is that? So even curry paste, he's like, I end up sending him things every once in a while because they just don't have it there where they're at. So
that's interesting. Yeah, that's true. But some store. I think that most people in most large cities do have an ethnic market, though, if they needed some of those items.
They do. But yeah, where he's at, no. I mean, you're lucky you get they actually say sometimes that they can't even find sweet potatoes just because the stores are like, nope, sorry, not carrying them. So
you're kidding.
It's a very different, very small town where he lives and stuff. So it's really hard to find things unless they go to the big city. Then that's another, 30 minutes to an hour out that they have to go to the grocery store. So
wow. Yeah. Is he eating healthier thanks to your influence?
We try as much as you can. He's actually gotten rid of almost all red meat except every once in a while he does a hamburger steak. And so it's like, like hamburger that's ground up and it's got vegetables and things like that in it. So, but I would say over the years and stuff, yes, we've gotten him a lot healthier. I don't see him frying things, which is really nice. We did get him an air fryer, so he's got that. And then he does a lot. He loves the pressure cooker. So he's got those kind of things. So any kind of like gadgets that I get that I really like and know that would help him, I'm like, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Birthday, here you go. And so then he ends up using them, which is really great. So.
Wow. Maybe we can get him to move in with you for a while.
Yeah. He would say I'd have to come there to move in, but yeah, he's 85. So, and he's lived 20 years longer than anybody in like any male in his family has ever lived, which is really nice. So it's nice to have him around for another 20 years or more. So yeah, I'm actually going to go see him, which is very difficult because there's not a lot of places to eat there. So I'm going to go see him here this Thursday coming up. So.
Yeah. Wow. How long are you staying?
Just a couple days. So I usually try to plan it every 6 months. So I fly in to see him just so I can spend time and make sure he's doing okay and all those kind of things. So, but like I said, it's a lot of buffets. So
wow. Are you going to cook for him while you're there?
I usually don't. He actually will bring out recipes and start cooking. He's like, hey, I found this glazed carrot, or hey, I found this, different recipes that he does. And when I'm there, they'll do baked potatoes and broccoli and vegetables and a salad. So, we eat in for the dinner. Otherwise, we try to go to different places like the buffet and I'll get a salad bar, those type of things. But yeah, it's a lot of buffets. Pretty much all there is there.
That's probably why they call it the bacon belt down there, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. It's like, you get the salad bar, which is like this big. And then you've got, like a mile long is all the hot foods, which is it's like shrimp and everything's, everything's fried, chicken, roast beef, you name it. So they do it for the salad bar for the wives, and then all the chicken. So like, even if you go to an Asian restaurant or whatever, they always have the fried chicken, the mashed potatoes, and the gravy because of the husbands. So the husbands will come.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the first dish you're making? What's it called?
So we're going to do Thai burritos, and then we're going to do sesame soba noodles. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the tofu ready. So I've actually sliced the tofu. So I had a little bit extra left over from another recipe. So I already sliced it. So right now it's just in nice little slabs like this. So I'm going to put them together because I want to get these ready. And then I'm going to do them in 3 slices. So you don't want to do them too thin because otherwise they fall apart. Just grab those out like that, put those to the side. I have more firm tofu over here. Just dump it. Same thing. I usually do 3 stacks of 3 like that, just so it doesn't fall over. Then do your three cuts. And of course, these are really big, so they'll fall apart. So I always just put them in half. All right. So then get my baking sheet. So we're just going to spread them out. And if you don't like, so let's just say that you don't like tofu. I always like to give everybody substitutes. You could also do eggplant. That would be a thing, or you could actually do zucchini. So you just do the same sauce over it, and then you don't have to worry about the tofu, because I know there are some people that prefer not to eat tofu. I would say Jerry was one until now. He's actually really good about doing tofu and different types of ingredients.
Oh, I like that you're giving options.
Yeah, love eggplant. But I know some people don't like eggplant. Some people don't like mushrooms. There's always substitutions. But like I said, if you don't like eggplant because of the chewiness of it, then I would go into your zucchini and your yellow squash. That would be another one because they bake up really well and the moisture comes out of them. And so then they give more, like you've got some type of a chewiness to it, which is really good.
Could you do this in the air fryer?
You sure could. Like I said, I had my air fryer and then I gave it to my dad, who's got it now. And it was one of those things that I just used the oven so much that's why I just kind of kept with the oven versus the air fryer. But I did get, which I know you'll like this, I did get the cream. What is it? The creamery?
You got the Ninja Creamy. Wonderful.
I did. It's sitting over here on the floor. We just got the box in, so I've got to go. So I've got to try it out and try the pineapple, and and I bought a bunch of the little containers. So we'll end up making like 6 or 7 different ones so that we can just eat them at night and that type of thing. So I've got it. We're going to try it.
Cool.
All right. So the sauce and the marinade that goes on here. So there's quite a few different ingredients. So you've got orange juice. You don't have to buy orange juice. Just buy an orange and squeeze it. Then we've got the red curry paste. And if red curry still is like one, you're like, maybe you've had a bad experience with curry or something like that, just feel free to leave it out. It's still going to have that great flavors on everything because you've got the orange juice and that. It just gives a little bit of that, kind of a little bit of nuttiness and a little bit of flavor to it, which is like a red pepper, which is great. All right, then we've got vegetable broth, a little bit of that in there. And I'm making sure I'm following along. So we've got sesame seeds. I did just the regular sesame seeds and the black sesame seeds. And the reason why, because I just dumped them, the reason why I do the black sesame seeds is it makes it pretty. It just adds color, especially when you're making it up and you're putting it on the tofu. And then I've got maple syrup or date paste.
It sounds delicious.
I got rice vinegar. Use a lot of rice vinegar now. Never used rice vinegar until I became plant-based. But I lived in Kansas, so rice vinegar was not something that they had in Kansas. And then the last thing I've got this raw almond butter. So, you can buy almond butter in the stores and stuff, but I went looking for an almond butter that was just nothing but almonds that was made up. But you can make it up in if you've got a Vitamix or something like that, you can make it up. This one is that is all it is. It's just raw almonds that are in there. A little more expensive than your processed type of almond butters, but much, much better for you. That's it. Just give it a little stir. Usually you can use your whisk, but sometimes the almond butter is a little thick and clogs up your whisk. So just grab a spoon. And you'll see why I like to put the black sesame seeds in it, because once I start spreading it on the tofu, it'll be ready.
And you would do the same thing if you were using eggplant and zucchini, and how would, if so, would you slice it then, like long ways?
I would slice it just like this. And the other thing that you could use, and I just thought about that too, polenta. So you've got the polenta that's in the rolls, so you could actually put polenta down here like this and then put the sauce over it and bake it, and then you would get that nice kind of a cornmeal crispiness if you didn't want to do any of the vegetables either.
That kind of
Then you've got all these other
interesting,
vegetables.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then grab a spoon, and then I'm just going to drizzle it over the tofu, because you want to have the tofu having that nice flavor. You've got a pastry brush. You can actually use the pastry brush. I couldn't find mine, so that's why I'm using a spoon. Sometimes when I have classes, they end up in my packages, which all my bags and stuff, and I think I think it's downstairs somewhere. And then I'm going to get these in the oven, 425. And you don't want to bake them when you're baking them. You want them to be kind of like, I guess, like pasta, like al dente, because you don't want it to be too crispy, because then like if you're trying to bite into it as a burrito or a sandwich, then it, like you grab the chunk and it comes out the whole thing. So you want to have it where it's still soft on the interior of it. So like a really nice baked French fry. Soft in the center, crispy on the outside.
Sounds like a commercial.
It does. So flavor wise, I'll just tell you what, because everybody's probably thinking, what's the flavor of that? You got the nuttiness. You got a little bit of that red curry, because it's got a little bit of heat. And then you've got your sesame seeds, and then you've got your almond butter. So it's kind of like the umami. So it's got a little bit of like the acids, and it's got more of the kind of like the little bit of it. It's not really salty, but it's more of the nutty flavors and stuff, but it's really, really good. You want to keep the rest left off to the side. That way, if it actually comes, and I'll show you what it looks like. So if it actually starts, cooking too much and you want to put more on, you can put some more on, but you can also put this when you're making your Thai burrito as actually the sauce. So we're gonna get this in the oven. Perfect. I think I got a sesame seed. I was like, oh, little sesame seed there. All right.
Your island seems particularly large. I mean, that's great. It looks like you can do a lot of stuff there.
We do. It's actually one of the really nice things, because you can do dishes over here on this side, and then you've got this island here, but then lots of space, lots of open space. This was kind of the reason why, we downsized and stuff, but the reason why we bought the house, kitchen layout. And it's all open. It's like everything's in front of us, all open, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's the best.
Except when you're working at home and, and then you're together 24/7 and you're like, I just need a room. I need to shut the door, but it's all good. It's all funny. All right. So I've got soba noodles next. If you don't have soba noodles, like you can't find them in the store, every once in a while and stuff, I'll go and they're a little bit difficult to find. Feel free to use like a whole grain type of like a spaghetti noodle, fettuccine. I'll do that every once in a while. I'll make the exact same salad, but I'll just do like spaghetti noodles. And it's just fun. But I did find the soba noodles. So the rice noodles, whole grains, all that, they're ready in about 7 minutes. So we're going to get these going. They have the water almost ready. And these are 8 ounces. So if you really, really like this salad, which I guarantee you will, you definitely want to do 2 bags of these down the road. Let's put those in. All right, so then we're going to start some of the cooking of the soba noodles. So some of the ingredients. So we have, I mean, if you look at this thing, I've got everything that's prepared, and it's the same thing that I've got over here. It's like almost the same colors, but you've got your purples and your reds and your greens and your oranges and everything else. I mean, how beautiful is that? That is something that you look at it and you're like, that's eye candy, just ready to eat. And you could actually just sit down with a really good dip or just without anything plain and just have at it. That's beautiful to me. So when we do the little spring pea pods, you know, they come like this. And a lot of people, you know, they'll just eat them plain. I eat them plain just like this. But when I get ready to put them into a salad, I like them a little bit thinner. So I'll actually slice them up, and I'll show you one that's it's kind of a cool slice. So I'll slice them up, and they're actually thinner, so a little bit easier to eat. So all I do when I'm doing that, I'm just gonna move this off to the side. All I do is I just grab it, and then you just do some nice just slices on it, just like that. So one of the pea pods, you might actually be able to get, you know, 2, 3, 4 slices, but then you've got it all ready to go. So when you actually just do a little saute on it, and even if you're doing like a stir fry, they just hold up really well and they're crunchy, but they're not so big that hard to eat. All right. So we're going to start a little bit of vegetable broth in with our pan, because we're actually, so there's 2 ways you can make a soba noodle salad. The first way, got a little bit of a sesame seed pot there, but the first way is that you can actually cook the vegetables. So do a light saute on the vegetables. So you've got that kind of the warmth, but the crispiness, or you could just leave everything raw, or you can cook some of it and leave some of it raw. So I've done it both ways. It really depends on, you know, like how much time I have on a Sunday to get things ready for the week. And so this one, we're actually going to do a light little saute on it, which is really nice. All right. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to start with the scallions. So I've got a few scallions, but don't use them all when you chop them up, because the reason why is you want to add some to the top, because that's what makes the salad even prettier. So just a little bit for the onion flavor. And I have some of the more ends on the bottom. So do that. That looks pretty good. So we'll leave that for decoration.
I love scallions on like everything, literally on everything.
I do too. I like them on, you know, I'll just chop them up on salads, everything. We always have them in the fridge, and I'm always using the green ends. And then of course, you know, if you get down where you're using all the green ends for everything and you get down to the white, I just chop the white and away it goes into a soup or something else. And you just, you know, just keep using it. I love it. They're really, really good. Okay. So we're going to get these sauteed up. So remember, when you're doing this, don't saute them up so much where everything gets soft, like, because it's like, and they start falling apart. You want to have that crispness. All right, so we've got that in there. So we've got the chopped, and I'm just kind of following along. So we're going to add the rest of the vegetables. So we've got red bell peppers. And you'll notice the nice thing about these 2 recipes, there's a lot of commonality of the vegetables that we're using. So you've got red bell peppers in both of the recipes. So it's almost like you bring out the vegetable, you do 1 chop, maybe it's a little bit different, but you do 1 chop, you've got 2 recipes made, which is the best thing. And if you look, I mean, just even that, the red and the green is so pretty. Then we're going to do the spring pea. And this is like, if you don't like these, think about all the vegetables that are out there. So the soba noodle salad it's like a smorgasbord of whatever you want to put on it. So if you don't like the spring pea, but you like zucchini, or you like, you know, maybe, you know, some of the different colors of cauliflower, all that kind of thing, you could actually add that in. There's so many vegetables that are coming out right now, like leeks, all those things, add it in. This is your salad. I'm just giving you the base and the flavors. You add it in, and you add what you would like to do with it. So you could change it up every single time. All right, then we've got red cabbage, my favorite. Every time I'm actually cutting this up, usually I end up with half as much as I cut up. The reason why is I've got somebody in the house that likes to come and get big handfuls of red cabbage. So I usually put that towards the end because it doesn't need a lot of sauteing. Then I have shredded carrots. You could also do matchstick carrots if you wanted to match the same kind of look and feel of the other vegetables. Edamame, my favorite. And then we're going to make up the sauce. So just going to give it a kind of a quick stir. Like I said, just enough where it kind of heats it through, but you want your vegetables al dente. You definitely don't want them soft. Let's add the red cabbage. I always probably have 1 or 2 full red cabbage heads and stuff in the refrigerator. Plus usually green too, because we're always making like coleslaws, or even if we're making like the sandwiches and stuff, I'm always bringing it out and putting cabbage in it.
Why do they call it red cabbage when isn't it purple technically? It's so pretty.
So there's the look at the colors already. And I haven't even added everything in. edamame. I think most people like edamame, but if you don't like edamame, there's so many, you could actually add some different types of beans. So you could do like a navy bean, which is holds up a little bit better than like your cannellini. You could do garbanzo beans. You could add garbanzo beans in there. I'm giving you a recipe, but it's still yours, which means that, try it and then add the vegetables and the things that you like into it. So make it so you become the chef. Get some of the red peppers and I'll show you again what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful?
It is. I love the colors. This is the best combination. And it's so good.
It's beautiful. Beautiful and flavorful. That's the really nice thing about it. So nice small, like just a light saute. So I'm going to turn this off because I don't want it to really cook anymore. You could also, a really fun thing, like a vegetable to add in this would be, because of the asparagus that's out right now. So you could chop up some asparagus in here and do a light saute with that. Yum.
Yeah, asparagus would be good.
All right, let me check the noodles. Soba noodles don't take very long to cook. So let me just make sure we've got them. They may actually be ready. Taste one. No, still a little starchy. Just give it a little stir. Let me check my tofu. Looking good, nice and bubbly. Soba noodles are one of probably the most stickiest noodles I think I've ever handled. They are very sticky. All right, now the sauce for the soba noodles. So we have low sodium soy sauce. You could do tamari. You could also do coconut aminos. Then we've got rice vinegar. See, more rice vinegar, both recipes. So bring a bottle out once, use it twice, which is a really great thing. Then we've got the sesame seeds. I also did the white and the black. Make sure they all get out of there. All right, and then we've got freshly ground black pepper. So I have a little bit of ground black pepper. And then we have a little bit of agave. So one agave you could also leave out. You don't have to have it in there. You could also substitute with monk fruit, date paste, and like maple syrup, all the different things that are out there. Date paste is one that I usually I try to make up and keep it in a jar and then use it for all the sweeteners. That, and then a little bit of vegetable broth. So as you notice, there's a lot of similarities between both of the recipes that I'm making. You've got a lot of the similarities of everything the different ingredients. Other than there's low sodium soy sauce in this one.
Do you make your own date paste?
I do. What I'll usually do is I'll put in probably like, say 20 dates, make sure there's no pits in them. So 20 dates, and then I'll pour water. So in maybe a bowl like this, and I'll put the dates and then I'll put the water in, and then I'll just put it into the Vitamix and then mix it up. And then what I'll usually do then too, is I'll put it into, grab one of the lids. I'll grab, mason jars, which best things in the world. And then I buy all these plastic lids. So, and the reason why I do the plastic instead of the metal is that metal oxidizes around the top. And then a lot of times it'll oxidize the food that's on the inside, and it'll turn like your, if you've got like a vegan mayo or that kind of stuff, it'll turn it really a funny taste, and it starts molding a lot faster. So if you do these plastic lids like this, you don't have that problem. So that's just what I put it in and store it in the refrigerator. And I've had like dressings and things like that I've made, and I have a couple of balsamic dressings that I probably store in the refrigerator 3 to 4 months with a plastic top. Put that off to the side. So flavor wise, little sweet, Got a little bit of soy sauce, those type of flavors. So got definitely a really good, I always, when I start making the salad, and I'll show you a little bit what I do. I start with a little bit of the dressing and then I add to it. And then that way and stuff, you know, even though I've got, let's say it's probably about a little over half a cup, maybe three quarters of a cup, I don't use that much of the dressing. So sometimes and stuff, I'll pack this up into a mason jar and keep it in the refrigerator for something else.
Why do they call it a
All right, I'm gonna
mason
do a quick,
jar? Why do they call it a mason jar?
I think it's because, and I know you probably have it because it's Ball, but they call them, like, if you buy them, it says Ball Mason. So Ball's the company, but it's a mason jar. It's called mason jars. I guess. I don't know. I've not looked it up.
I'm just curious.
You're going to have to look it up and tell us if it's like, if his name was Mason Ball or Ball Mason, or I don't know. All right, vegetables are done. Noodles should be done. Let me just taste, find out.
You were right. That was his name.
Yay! I get the gold star.
The mason jar, as we know today, was named after John Landis Mason, who first invented and patented it in 1858.
1858, my goodness.
He was a tinsmith. That's where the metal ring came from.
Wow.
But he lost his patent. That's why Kerr and Ball could start making them.
Huh. Now we have all learned. I figured it had to do something with the name, but. All right, so I have the noodles ready. So what I'm going to do is they're very starchy. And so I'm just going to go ahead and give them a quick rinse. Get a lot of the starch out. Quick little shake. Let me dump the. All right, let me grab the big bowl because then we'll mix everything up and then we'll put it in the pretty bowl. So soba noodle, this actual salad is one that you can do, and you could do it warm, or you could make it the day before and have it cold the next day. It's one of those ones that it's great warm and it's great cold. Jerry actually, even though it's in the refrigerator, a lot of times and stuff, he'll put it in the microwave or he'll put it like in a saute pan like this and heat it up. So he likes his everything that kind of goes into the burritos a little warm too, except for the vegetables. So then he kind of heats everything up, and I go and I just do it cold. So do it either way. So you've got your soba noodles, add in your vegetables. Side. And look at that. I haven't even mixed it up yet, but all the beautiful vegetables. Okay, and then I will grab Jerry will be happy because it's going to be warm. This will be lunch.
Nice.
As you said, be nice to be Jerry.
Oh, lucky man. Does he ever cook a meal himself?
He does. He does. We've got a taco recipe he makes. He can make tostados, enchiladas. I would say it's probably more on the Mexican food. He does Italian, so he can do like marinara salad, pasta. But I think his preference would be to wait until I make it. Wouldn't that be the preference of anybody, though? Like come home and it's all made for you.
Yep. That's why so many people eat out.
Very much so. It's amazing. Like when you do go out, it's amazing how many people eat out now. It's a lot. Kids, families. All right, so I've got everything mixed together. So now I'm going to pour a little bit of the dressing. And this is one of those salads that the noodle salad and stuff that gets better and better, just like we were talking about earlier, and stuff gets better and better every day. So that because of the sauces and everything kind of go inside of it, and everything seeps into the noodles and the vegetables, so it makes it even yummier. And then to know if you've got enough, just grab one of your, I'm gonna grab a small part of the noodle. Just grab your noodle, taste it, or your cabbage.
I got to tell you, I'm so excited about those noodles. I think I told you about them that they have at the Vietnamese restaurant that makes the pho. They're literally just mushrooms. They're not mushroom flour or powder. He literally makes them out of giant king oyster mushrooms, and they're fabulous.
Yes, I have heard about those. I have never tried them, but I've heard about them, and I've heard they're really, really good. Have you tried them?
All the time when I go there, and they have the feel of like, it's like you're eating pasta. And since I'm not really I don't hate mushrooms, I'm not the biggest fan. When I eat them in the noodle, I just think I'm eating like pasta. It's amazing.
I'm the same way. I am not, if it was in a noodle, I am not a mushroom fan either. So I'm not, Jerry will eat, if I get mushrooms on something, because it's, like a pizza or something like that, I will give him all the mushrooms and salads, but I'm not one that eats it. But if it's in something like that, ground up in like a, like it's a, you've got a veggie
it's
loaf
not
or
even
those.
ground up. It's not ground up. That's the cool thing. It's literally these long strands that he cuts with a julienne of a king oyster mushroom, and it's so cool.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna have to come to California and try that.
You can come visit me, and I'll let you cook for me.
And you'll take me there once, right?
I'll take you. Listen, I'll take you. The nice thing is there's 5. Well, there's more vegan restaurants than 5, but there's 5 that I've been to that are totally on board for making SOS free, and it's delicious.
Nice. That sounds delicious. Yeah, you wouldn't, I think I would want to have them just cook it and then tell me later that it was mushrooms. So you wouldn't tell me, you'd just be saying like, we're going to go get noodles. All right. So there is my sesame soba noodle salad.
Oh my God, that looks delicious and beautiful.
That's just put a fork in it and away you go. This is like wonderful. All right, so let's check the tofu. It should be, yeah, looking really good.
Are you more a savory girl or a sweet girl?
If I have a choice of eating something, it's going to be on like the salty side. So I'm more of the savory.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll do a sweet, but I don't, I don't crave like the really like sweet things. I'd rather have like nuts, or bad thing is, way back when, chips, what I used to eat when I was 16 plus years ago. So, all right, there is the tofu. Are you more savory or sweet?
I used to be more sweet, but now I'm savory.
Are you?
Not that I don't like sweet, but if I'm hungry, especially, sweets do not satisfy me.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like I'll make something, like for Jerry and stuff, I'll make like I don't know, like a brownies or something, which is all, McDougal type brownies and all those kind of things. And he'll eat like, and I'll maybe eat one little piece on it, but he'll eat like maybe half. If it's a pan or something, he'll eat half. And then it just goes, and then that's it. It ends up getting thrown away. Same thing with like apple cobblers. It's maybe 2 times that he'll try it, then done. So that's why we're excited about the Ninja, because we're thinking, fruit type of things, and like frozen fruit would be great. Yeah. So, all right. So I have Ezekiel. So I'm going to be using the sprouted flourless tortillas. But you could use, if you've got the brown rice, you've got all the different, whatever you've got. So I'm just going to do 2 of them. I'm going to warm them up for just a couple of seconds just to make them a little more pliable. But we use these for, Jerry uses these for all kinds of sandwiches. We do burritos, all kinds of fun things. So then I have red artesian lettuce, because I thought, it's not really red, it's purple, but I thought it was beautiful. Then I'm going to do red peppers, red bell peppers, shredded red cabbage. Then I have shredded carrots. I have microgreens, because microgreens are good for the gut and everything else. So these are broccoli flavored. I have a little bit of avocado. I could not find Thai basil, so we're going to use regular basil. And then I have brown rice that has been warmed up, that was cooked in the Instant Pot. So the other thing that you could add to this, and I've kind of stepped away from it a little bit, but the original recipe that I had it with black beans. So you could do like a black bean paste. It got to be where, to me, it was kind of more heavy. especially when I put it with like the soba noodle salad and all that. So I stayed with just the brown rice to give it a little bit of that oomph, but not add the black beans anymore. But you can still add that.
Is there a huge difference between Thai basil and regular basil?
There is. There's a flavor difference between the two. So the basil's, more smooth, and it reminds you of all like Italian food. The Thai basil has more of a kind of a punch to it. And like I said, I went looking for it in a couple different stores and couldn't find it. It's one of those ones that it shows up in our stores once in a while, but not usually. But like I said, you could use, people that know Thai basil would say, that's not Thai basil. But when you're trying to make something like this for your family, you could just use the regular basil. And then the cool thing about basil also is once you use it, let's just say you only use a couple leaves. The other thing is just then put it in the freezer. So just, put it into a plastic baggie and freeze it. And then you just crunch it up whenever you need it and put it into all your sauces or soups or whatever else that you want to do. So you don't ever have to waste your basil.
But it doesn't turn that kind of weird brown color when you do that?
When you freeze it, I'll show it. Nope, I'll show you.
Okay.
I have one right here.
When you buy basil from the store, is basil or basil? Should you refrigerate it or keep it at room temperature? Because like it's refrigerated, but like at Trader Joe's, it's not refrigerated.
Correct. What I find is if I refrigerate it, and I've done it both ways. So when you refrigerate and stuff, it seems to go bad faster. You seem to get kind of that brown, almost like it looks moldy. And so I leave it on the counter when I get it, because even the refrigeration because it's hanging, they're really not refrigerated as much. So they don't feel that cold. So it seems to last longer, but even then you only get about a day or two with your basil. So when you use it, you want to use it for whatever you're going to make it for. And then if you've got, like if I do chop some up for Jerry, like if I made a spinach lasagna and he wants extra on the top, I will put it in a little glass dish like this and put plastic wrap over it, and it'll keep for another day or so. But otherwise, when it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, day one, now it's day two, I freeze it. And so you can see it's bright green. And then because it's frozen, you just crunch it up like that. And then, or just take, chunks of it out, put it in your marinara sauces and all those type of things. Like I used probably this much basil when I made a spinach lasagna that was probably 9 by 12. So I used about that much basil. Made it really good. Throw this back in there. Always have garlic and roasted garlic and basil and what am I trying to say? Kale, all those type of things. Always have those available in the freezer. It's a good way to hide the veggies too. We used to do that with Jerry's mom. So when she would be like, oh, I don't like kale, I don't like onions, I don't like all of that stuff. And I would actually put it into soups, and I would crunch up the kale so much because it was frozen that it looked like it was parsley, because she liked parsley. But I'm like, that's how I'm getting, she was 86, I think, or something like that, getting the good veggies in her stomach, and onions and things like that would help with the healing. So, all right. So I've got two of the, I'm gonna move everything out. So I've got two of the tortillas here. So I'm going to do one right now. So just add a little bit of the sauce. You don't have to add much. You could also not do the sauce and do like a vegan mayo if you wanted to, or you could be really American and just add like Jerry will do this every once in a while. I've seen him do it. He probably won't admit to it, but I've seen him do yellow mustard, because yellow mustard is like one of his favorites. So he's like, yellow mustard, all these veggies, all this, and away you go. All right, so we've got this. So you're going to want to start layering it. So you've got let's get some of this artesian. So if you think about it, when you cut it in half, you're going to want to have the colors like on the outside and the inside. So I'm just going to kind of put it both ways. It's almost like you're making, like we went to a sushi restaurant last night and watching them. So, they layer things off to the side, and so that you get, like when you're cutting things through and doing all that, you've got all the colors and everything. And you can build it however you want. Just grab the actual vegetables. But remember, don't add too much, because you've got the size of the tortilla, and if you add too much, then it ends up blowing out the sides. And I always try to add things like to the ends of it too. That. We got carrots. And the nice thing about, you could actually do matchstick carrots if you wanted to. So the matchstick carrots, and they look like just like this. But, to be able to get more of the vegetables in there, the shredded actually helps it hold together a little bit better. Then I have rice. It's regular old brown rice. Then I'm going to do avocado. You don't have to do the avocado. And I'll show you something too, because I've got the avocado. So I'm only going to use half of it. And it's a very small little avocado. So I've always got these little things that I love these. Get these on Amazon. It's called Avo AVO Saver. And so you'll notice that you've got the side with the pit. So you match it up just like this. Or you could do that like that, and then you wrap it. And then you put it in the fridge, and it actually will stay that way. So it seals from a lot of the moisture or the air getting into it. And so like 2 or 3 days later, you might have a little bit of browning on the top, but nothing like when you put it in a baggie or something like that, and you pretty much have to throw your avocado away. You can keep it in the refrigerator like this for probably 3, 4, 5 days. So, Avo Saver, great. They're under $10 for 2. When we did our summit, we actually gave those away, and I remember I think it was one of the first individuals that won, because we were doing a raffle, and I handed it to him, and he opened it up, and he kind of looks at me like, oh, thanks. And I was like, no, it's really great. I said, if you put, your avocado and you save it, or you end up taking this to work and you're using it, it saves your avocados. And he still looked at me like, yeah, nice, thanks. And then I saw him probably, I don't know, 6 months later, and he goes, that's the best thing I've ever had. And I'm like, I know. So it's funny. I think it was because we gave away an Instant Pot. I think everybody was like, after all the other prizes, was like, oh, Instant Pot. I'm like, no. Okay, so just a few slices of avocado. I'm gonna slice them up a little bit so I can get some more on the round there.
Kelley, since you work all week, do you have certain days that you batch cook, or how does it work for you, like your food prep?
I do. I actually, a lot of times and stuff on Sundays. So usually Sundays and stuff, you'll find me in the kitchen, and I'm actually batch cooking. So maybe I'll be making I'll think, oh, it'd be great to have a soba noodle salad. And then I'll make all these up, and these all have, lids on them. So I'll be like, okay, Jared, we're having the Thai burritos or some type of other type of a Vietnamese or something like that. And then I'll just put the tops on these, and then everything, like all the sauces, everything's ready. And then I'll just put it in the fridge, tell Jerry, like, here's what this is, here's what this is. And then he can get in there and do it. And then I also keep things like, let me just grab one. I always keep things like this in there too. And I showed this on your bundle. So, having these little plastic containers like this, and even though they are plastic, you can see, this is a good side of it. I wash all my lettuce. So this is my, I've got some red leaf in there and romaine, and then I keep it all up like this, and this will last me like 2 weeks. And so that if Jerry wants a salad, or I want to, cut up a salad really quick, you just pull out the leaves of lettuce. And these have been in here. These are going on 2 weeks. Let's grab a couple of them out. It's really nice. Once in a while, your end pieces, like the ends of them, might get a little bit, like a little bit color on them, but you can just cut that off. But you've got fresh lettuce all the time. So I do that a lot too. I wash off the lettuces and then put them in the refrigerator. All right.
What are those 3 white things behind you? Because normally it would be like sugar, flour. What are sugar, flour? What are they? What are
they?
Those?
Would be, but they're just decoration. I have a big pantry, so everything's in the pantry, and I needed color, not because I wouldn't say they're really color, but just they matched everything. So, yeah. I'm adding the tofu, but over there is a millet, and I can show you real quick with that. You'll see. This is usually full. So this is a millet granola that we make. So it has like raisins and a little bit of nuts, but it's millet that's actually been baked. And so you can see
that looks delicious. Millet granola. I mean, that's so cool. Do you use the millet cooked, or do you use it raw?
You use it raw. That's the nice thing about this. So the sweetener in it is only dates. And so it's dates, flax seeds, millet. And then you can put you've got there's sliced almonds. Let me think what else is sliced almonds. And then you could put you know, whatever nuts and stuff there, the things that you want to put in there. And then it has oats. But if you're allergic, you know, if you don't have like can't do the oats, you could leave the oats out, and then you put it in the oven and bake it, because you've got all the moisture and stuff from the date paste and the flaxseed, and it's the best thing. When I make this up, we got neighbors that know about it. So usually it's about this full. When I make this up, I have to give them away packets because they love it. And they're like, I never would have thought of just eating millet. And it is so good when you bake
Okay,
it.
because I love millet, and that is just amazing. And so you don't have to cook it.
You mix it all up, this whole granola, and it'll make a pan. It's not hot anymore. It'll make a pan like this when I make the recipe. And then I just put it in the oven, bake it at 350, and then let it cool off. And then I package it up. I'll put it in like little plastic or glass containers and stuff and give it to some of the neighbors. And then it's ready to go. It is so good. And it's good for, like, if you're eating like cereal or you're doing fresh fruit or anything, you can just add the toppings all over the place. It's really good. I'll make it one of these times.
Well, yes, please. Do you think I can make it in my dehydrator too?
Yeah, you could. Very easily you could, because if you put, you can put it all in there and you've got the shelves for the dehydrator, it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to make it even crispier. It is so good. Yeah. All right. So I've got everything in here. So I'm rolling it up.
Sorry, I'm just still blown away by the millet. Did you think of that yourself?
I did. I've seen other recipes and stuff, where they're, when you're on like Pinterest and you're just looking around, it's like me, it's in between giving me 5 minutes of where I don't have to think about work. And so I just saw something about somebody was doing something with millet, or I was reading an article about it. And I was like, that would be actually really good in a, because oats with me are not the best thing. So that's the one thing of, they say, I should be like gluten-free, but truthfully, it's oats is the only thing that causes me issues. And so I was like, I got to find something that substitute for oats. And so millet was one of those things. And I was like, is there other grains out there that, like brown rice and stuff, if you just toasted it up and tried to eat it, it's so hard. But millet, when you're eating it, it's almost like a little bit crispier Rice Krispie when it bakes. It's that good. I love it. If you want, I'll send you the recipe and you can try it out and see what you think.
Yeah. Oh my God, I would really love it. Yeah. And I'll try. Reason I like the dehydrator for granola, because I make a granola, but it's oat based. And actually I don't use dates. I use bananas, but you could use dates, is I don't have to babysit the dehydrator,
Exactly. 12, 15 hours, whatever, however long it takes and stuff, you come back and it's perfect. Yeah. I have a couple of recipes that I've used before that are in the dehydrator, which I have downstairs. But this one, because I make it a lot, that I just put it in the oven, and while I'm making everything else, then it, I just keep stirring it up and it browns up. And sometimes you'll get like a little crispy section of it that's just really good. And you could put, there's, like I said, you can put like anything you want in it. I mean, if you don't like raisins, substitute out something else, and the almonds, all those kind of things. But it's so good. It's like one of those ones you could mix with other cereals. It's great. Make on your, like some of your fruit-based ice creams, things that you're making right now. That would be good.
Be delicious.
Okay, so then I'm just going to slice it. Slice it all the way through. That's what it looks like on the inside. There's one there. One there. Add some color. I'll leave that one off. Then microgreens. In the back. So there we go. There is, tell me where I'm at with it. So there's the Thai burrito.
How do you,
all yummy.
You plate things so exquisitely beautifully.
Thank you. I like to. It's fun. It's a lot about what you eat too, is what it looks like. And so, if you put something like, somebody's like, like, I don't like tofu, I don't like this, I don't like that, but you put something like this down in front of somebody and they see this, they're like, oh, that's really good. And granted, this is not how I serve when, it's Jerry, it's dinner time, type of thing. But I will put like the microgreens, because the microgreens are great for you, good for the gut and all those kind of things. And then, I'll set it up just like this type of a thing. But it just, like I said, it's all about eye candy. It's like when you put things in the refrigerator, and you have, let's say these are all have, tops on them, and you've got these kind of colors and things, it makes you're like looking at it and you're like, wow, that just looks so good and so refreshing. And it's also good because like, during the days, I'm working a lot of hours and I get maybe, I don't know, sometimes 15 minutes for lunch in between, because Zoom and Teams has taken over our life now. And so having something like this and being able to eat it off the side if you're not on camera, and it's just refreshing and it refreshes your body and your mind, is a really good thing. So I love it.
Now, why doesn't Jerry deserve the fancy plating?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I'm teasing too.
Because he gets the, I guess, so like every couple of weeks when I do classes and things like that, he gets the fancy plating then, but not all the time. Yeah. He's like, he doesn't care. He's like, as long as you put it in front of him, he will eat. I mean, some people will say, and they always tease him and stuff, people that have known him and in class and stuff, they're like, this is Jerry's bowl, and then there's a bowl for everybody else, type of thing. So color wise,
your food looks so good, and I know personally it tastes good. I hope people are trying these recipes every month.
I hope so too. I'd love to hear. We always, love to hear about, if somebody said, hey, I switched it out and I made, I put the purple cauliflower in there instead of the red cabbage or that, take pictures and send them. I'd love them to send pictures to you and say, yep, this looks great.
That's cool. So you're coming on next month, which will be May, but you're coming on after Mother's Day. So we can't do that holiday, but I think you're coming up. It'll be before Memorial Day, I believe.
I think so. We can do. I have great recipes for burgers and things like that are easy to make, that are really good. So we could do, I actually did one not too long ago and stuff where it was, I did quinoa and I did all kinds of vegetables. So I did that as the base. So on a plate like this, big base of it was actually a bowl, plate of quinoa, all kinds of like asparagus and mushrooms and all that. And then we did a burger with, we did a homemade barbecue sauce on top. And the sprouts, oh my gosh, it was so good.
That sounds amazing. It's so many burgers are based just on beans or lentils. It's nice to have some that are based on other things.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was really, really good. So we've got all kinds of recipes. We got baked beans. We have, you could do potato salads. We've got all kinds of different things that we could do for, getting ready for the summer. Because hopefully the summer, will be nice for everybody, nice weather, and being able to get out and spend time with family and friends. So do
you have a book with all these recipes?
I'm working on it. I'm trying. I have an old one, but I could probably look at it and see if I could republish that one, but I'd rather add the new recipes and all the pictures. I have probably 1,000 photos now of everything, and I'd love to get that put together.
Yeah, well, that'd be amazing. So I
need to do it. I just need to say this summer. It's one of those things I'm just going to have to put it as a goal and just say this summer, I don't care what it's going to take, get it done, because that's what I need to do.
Just tell your job you need a few hours off every day to work on your book.
I'd love to. It's crazy. It's, it's healthcare. Healthcare is buying, acquiring, everything. Everybody sees it in every state you live in, and it's just, it's a crazy time.
Oh man, well, thank you.
But I'm going to work on it. That's my goal. I'm going to write it down every day and say, spend an hour, or if you don't spend the hour that one day, spend 2 hours the next day and get it done. Yep. That's what it'll take. If
you were going to do something for Mother's Day, what is Mother's Day to you? Like a brunch type food, a quiche?
I was trying to remember, because like when my mom was around and stuff, we used to go, my dad always would take us out for Asian food. So we always went to the Chinese restaurant because that was something that she really liked to do. So that's what I remember of my mom. And then always, the gifts and kind of, sitting around outside, because it was usually nice outside in Kansas. If I would do it now, so if I was celebrating now, I'd probably go more of the brunch foods, because, I have a fruit salad that one of my neighbors asked me to make for Easter, but it's just, all kinds of fruits, and it's just, the beautiful colors. Again, that's what I like. That's the eye candy to me. And it has a jalapeno, kind of a dressing on top of it, on the fresh fruit. And a lot of people are like, ooh, jalapeno, that's gonna be too hot. It doesn't add the hot to it. It just adds a little bit different flavor that makes the fruit pop. And so having like a fruit salad and, some fun glasses and quiche and like some roasted potatoes, rosemary roasted potatoes and that thing. I think that's what I would do. That's what sounds good to me. That's what I'd like somebody to do for me, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry, you better make Kelley a Mother's Day meal. I'm telling you.
I think he would be like, okay, where do you want to go for dinner?
That's funny. Do you have some healthy choices where you live for restaurants?
We do. We have a lady that is vegan that has an Italian restaurant, so we can go there and get spaghetti marinara, which is really good. And then we have like there's Asian sushi. We have a great sushi restaurant we went to last night, and they make all vegetable sushi, and that's good. They're fun. They're really fun there. And then I was trying to think, what else do we have? And there's always the steak restaurants that you can get baked potatoes and salads, and bring in your own balsamic dressing. Or it's so funny when you go to restaurants now, and you're like. And it's a lot of the younger generation stuff are like, okay, we need just the balsamic vinegar. And you always get the dressing. Jerry always gets the dressing. And we're like, no, just the vinegar. So, but there's not, if Colorado is as healthy as Colorado says that it is, there's not that many restaurants that are here. But there is that new burger place. Is it Next Level is it called? Yeah, we went to drive by it. Yeah, because I know you interviewed him, but we went to drive by it, but they don't have a lot of spots in front of them to park. And it's right where all the DU students. So it's where the college is and stuff. So it was very busy. So we didn't go in. So we didn't try it yet.
Well, let me know if there's anything that I could eat there, if there's anything healthy, because that would be so cool if there was.
Yeah, we definitely check it out. Jerry's very much a connoisseur of it's got to be healthy and this and that. So he was willing to check it out. It's just like it was on a Saturday, which is not a place you go when the college students are out. It was too busy. So
well, Kelley,
it was packed. Got to tell him that it was packed.
Well, no, I'm glad because it's still, I would argue, healthier than eating animals. So
yeah,
I'm happy to see so many people eating there.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Chef Kelley.
Thank you. I love it.
Oh my God, you're so great. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time for Goodbye Lupus with Dr. Brooke Goldner. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Oh, wonderful.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.